about rural development, which is today's topic is about rural development, which is one very great topic in this fundamental of agriculture extension education, because whatever we have studied so far, that all things were related to the development of the people who are living in the rural area. So what why we need to develop a rural area, and what are the things that is associated with the development of this rural area. So the first, we should know the concept why we want to have a rural development. What is actually a rural development is, and how much it is implemented to the people, and why it should be given emphasis, given a more importance, or should people emphasize on rural development. So the first thing is, what is rural? So, if we see in a very common language what rural is an area where the people are engaged in primary industry, in the sense that they produce things directly from the first time, for the first time in cooperation with nature, as a society or a community can be classified as rural based on the criteria of low population density, less social differences, less social and spatial mobility, or slow rate of social change, that is agriculture, would be the major occupation of the rural area. So this definition by Srivastava in 1961 has explained a lot about the rural life, and which is nowadays also uh, very much true and valid. Like what he said is, like whatever they produce, it is directly beneficial to them through the times and corporation. So, what does times in cooperation here means is, like whatever the crops, the fruits, the flowers, or the byproducts of all the agriculture things that are produced by a farmer in a rural area, has a direct impact of getting monetary support from the cooperatives. Like we have some farmers who produce around 50 to 60 tons of wheat, and he want to sell that things, quintals of wheat, and he wants to sell that thing to the market. So whenever he will sell that product, he will directly get a lot of amount from the person who is going to buy that guy, whether it is a government or private or individual person who is buying that product. Then second one is, it is a community which can be classified on the rural basis of lower population density. So, as we have seen, like only like 200 families are there, 300 families are there, which is making a rural community, or which is making a very means small villages, which are where people are very interactive to each other. They know the people from generation to generation, and they know who was their grandfathers, who what they were doing, how much they were honest, and a characteristic of that family. Then low social differences, actually, like many in we have studied about the rural sociology, in that we have studied a lot about the how this settlement of the villages were done, or rural areas were done. So sometime it was bifurcated by the people of according to the caste, the occupation, the name, and even by the culture. So, less social differences here is differentiation means, like those who are from the higher caste, they are all the people in that village are from higher caste. So there is no disparity of higher or lower, or and if there are the people who are of all villages are making some working for cottage industry and earning money by themselves. So no disparity is there. Like why are you working? And one person is very much what we can say, higher in state, status and one is lower in status. So these type of things are not there. These type of things can be seen in urban areas where people are resettled by or migrated from different areas, and they get settled, so they are unaware of the culture that is followed by the other. So this type and many time they don't want to see each other, they don't know, they don't want to interact. Maybe they have some caste issue or color issue or the cultural issue or the language issue. So and these are the things which divide the society. But here in rural, it's not like that. So less social and mobility is very less. Most of the people, they, like I have already said, like people, they know our generation from last like 40 to 50 years. They know our generation from 5 to 7 generation. They knew how the character is there, whose children we are, whose grandchildren we are. So they know everything. So why this happened? Because people are not mobile. Means like they don't moved from like one generation lived in one village and the second generation is going and living in another village. So not like that is happen. Or even the partially if something some mobility happens also, it happens due to the job or the development, or maybe there is some condition, maybe there is some displacement due to natural disasters and all. So they uh, migrate from one place to another for jobs, or if they have been affected by disaster. Then slow a rate of social change, so people don't immediately like uh, change themselves for the good of the others, like for the others thing we can say. For example, like in urban, if there is a one new technology, mobile has been introduced, iPhone has been introduced, so they are not going to immediately buy all these products and launch that products in their home. They will wait for some time, or they don't want to invest money because whatever the phone they are having, it is enough for them. So they are not in the service line, they are in the field or practical line, so they have to work by hands, manual work is there, so they don't change themselves according to the things, as compared to the rate of change is very high in the urban areas. So I've already said like there is a manual work. Why it is a manual work? Because agriculture needs all the manpower for the work in the field. So no technology related things can be happen immediately in the agriculture occupation. Now, one concept of rural development is rural, and the other one is development. So it refers to the growth, evolution stages of inducement or progress. This progress or a growth is a gradual and has a sequence phase. Always there is increasing differentiation. It also refers to the overall movement towards greater efficiency and complex situations. So uh, actually, development is a growth of any things which is helping people to grow, and evolution is from what was before and what is going to be after and what is at the present. There is some differences, though that is the evolution. Then stages of progress we can see in the before the, like we can see nowadays everybody in the village are using mobile, have internet, have access to internet, they can have digital India, something like that. But before, if you talk about 60 years before, it wasn't like that. uh, Always there is a increasing differentiation. So it's not like what was developed 10 years ago, it is continuing, it's every year it is continuing, every moment it is developing. So it is progressing, new things has been introduced. It also refers to the overall movement towards greater efficiency and complex situations. So greater uh, efficiency is required for this, and sometimes we have to go through the complex situation. So all these things are termed as a development. So if we put together these two terms, we can say rural development is a process which aims to improve the well-being and realization of people living outside the urban areas through collective process. So, improving the well-being, the basics is improving the well-being of whom? The rural people who are solely dependent on agriculture, and their main occupation and the only occupation they have is agriculture. So how to improve that thing so that they can compete somewhat little bit like urban areas. According to Agarwal, rural development is a strategy designed to improve the economical and social life of the rural. So, as I have already said, like if you introduce something new into the rural area, the development will take place, and that development is going to affect the rural life economically. Then there are some scopes and importance of rural development. So, the first scope of the rural development is uh, if you talk about the rural development is a dynamic process which is mainly concerned with the rural area, like we have already studied before. These include agricultural growth, putting up of economical and social infrastructures. uh, Economically and social infrastructure is like uh, income generation activities can be done there, and even the infrastructure of the social upliftment of the people can be done. Then there will be fair wages, like in urban areas. For a particular job, a fixed amount of money is given to both the genders, or to any caste person, or to any person who comes from any state, any age. A fixed amount of money has been kept, but sometimes there is in villages what happen because of gender issue, because of age issue, the things are not provided fair. So uh, fair wages thing is also there. Also housing and house site for the landless. So those people who are landless, then there comes the societies, or there comes up projects which are helping the people to develop and get a house society to the landless people so that they can live good. Then village planning is done. If village will be planned in a such a way that it provides everything to the people or in the rural area, then they don't need to migrate to the urban area for their necessary thing. Public health is one of the factor that is making the people to come to the urban areas and get settled and get treatment. Then education is the another one. If there are colleges and in school institutes or colleges or degree colleges are there, then they don't need to mobilize from the particular area to the other places. Then functional literacy. A functional literacy here is the how to do that process and how much this process is going to affect them. All these things are there. Then communication, like before the introduction of phones and all, communication were the people used to write letters, they have to post, then wait for the people to uh, respond, and then they will reply and all. This communication process nowadays has been minimized through the introduction of digital India, and every house is having a mobile. So this thing has been importance of development that is given to that. So the development has reached to the villages, and how much these things are there. So why is the reason? What are the important reason that should be kept in mind when we think about the rural development? First one is about three-fourth of Indian population live in rural area. This is the biggest thing. It's three-fourth. It's not one-third only. It is 75% of the people are living under rural, agricultural land or rural area, and half of them have income from the um, agriculture, and about 70% of the population is employed through the agriculture. So all the raw material that urban people are getting, urban industries are getting, are from the agriculture or the rural sectors. Increase in the industrial population can be justified only to the rural people motivation and increasing the purchasing power to buy into industrial goods. So increasing in the number of population, industrial population can be justified only in rural population. So whatever the industry is being produced is very much uh, with the help of the rural population, and they need to motivate them so that the industry in the in the urban area can go on, and the people also in the rural area can get benefit about by the uh, uh, product they buy. Then growing disparity between urban elite and poor can be lead to the political instability. Also, if the urban people, they get a lot of money and they become rich, and the poorer the village people or the rural areas become poorer, then there will be a great uh, disparity between them. Like in the parliaments, if some peers, some volunteers or some MLAs who says, like a representative of the village people, they say like we need to have some roads or one bridge or good food or vaccine from the government. So in the urban, it's already provided as a primary necessity, but in the rural area, it is like a huge thing that people are not getting. So we need to have a mind on that, and by keeping all that things in mind, we have to go for the um, rural development things and how to develop that thing. Then what are the objectives of rural development are the to achieve enhanced productivity, production and productivity in the, so just not that people are going to get um, benefit out of it. They need to have to produce so that they can increase the productivity in a such a way that the productivity increases and they get a good amount of money. To bring about a greater socio-economic equity means socio-economic equity is like the urban people, they get for 8 hours they work and they get around 40 to 45,000 bucks for their work. But what about the people in the rural area? They have to work for all the mm 12 hours, 24 hours, and then they get nothing out of it if their productivity is not good. So, socioeconomic equity is a very great objective of this rural development. We have to maintain so that the people uh, don't feel indifference from the urban areas. Then to bring about a partial balance between social and economical development means it's not like the urban is getting richer and richer and the rural areas is getting poorer and poorer. To bring about improvement in the ecological environment so that it may be conductive to grow the growth and happiness. So it's also giving them importance, like what are their natural resource and how much they can have. They can see to the natural resource and how much they can have effect from that, and how they can be happier by keeping the money for further use and all, to develop broad-based community participation in the process. So it's not just development is a factor that is given by the organization or the government to the people. It is from the people participation also that development will be successful. Okay. So in last lecture we studied about what is a education and what is extension education. What is the difference between the two terms? What is the scopes of the extension? and how that is implemented to the BSc agriculture students. Now, the third topic that we are going to study today is about the objective and principle of extension education. So, how this education, extension education started? Actually, before anything, it was a service, and Harton in 1952 he said, like, when we provide extension services, we have to keep some four great principle things in our mind. The first one is we have to think that individual is the supreme in democracy. The home is a fundamental unit in a civilization. So here we have to think like, yeah, every person, every individual is a prime target of a extension service, and home is the place where this people are trying to come together, and the extension people can interact with them. Then the third one is about the family, because family is the first group that resides in the society. And then the fundamentals of any permanent civilization must rest on the partnership of land, man, and the land. So here is what is does the partnership means is about the man and the land is whatever we does in the area wherever we are living is directly proportional or directly involving men in that. And land, without land, men cannot make their houses and all, and they don't understand the felt need of that particular area, the piece of land. So we can say this scientist was having this both the things in mind, that men is associated with land and land is also associated with men. So as they were working upon, and then they went for further uh, in the coming years, they come up with the objective of extension work. First of all, the things was about the services. The services are the things that some uh, things that we provide to the people, some uh, activity or some facility that we provide to the people. But when we talk about the work here is signifying everything, everything in the sense like all the people are coming together and helping the other people. So, what were the objective of the extension work? To help people reach higher level of living physically, mentally, and spiritually. So here is higher level. What does the meaning of higher level here is? This uh, higher level means whatever environment they are living in, they have to be in a particular way, in a particular standard, in a particular health and status of mind. So here is physically means we work in the field with the people. That is the physically. Mentally is about the changing the connotation that they have built since their birth or since they were living in that particular place. Spiritually, we encounter here is we don't have to demolish their whatever the um, spiritualities they are having. We have to enhance that spirituality in such a way that it is the services that we are providing to them. Then second point is to reach this higher level of living. People must be educated and trained to meet their responsibility in relation to God, to their neighbors, and to themselves. So people must be educated is like services told that individual is important, then they told like home is important, then they told family is important, and then they came up with the partnership of the male and men and land is important. Okay, so when we talk about men and land, so men always live in the land, and land doesn't consist of only one individual or one home or one family. It consists of many families that are grouped together. They build up a society. So when the society is built up, we have some responsibility towards them also. So the first one is like understanding what type of your neighbor is, and what are their needs. Are the needs similar to yourself, or are they different? Then towards a god, relation towards a god means here is the responsibility that they are having must have relation with god, means like their spirituality shouldn't be hampered, or they should attach with each other with some godly um, rituals and all, and they help each others. Okay, so third point is they must also know how to meet the responsibility imposed by their environment. So, like wherever we live, we have to keep the area in such a condition that we are able to reside in them. So, like we have some Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. Why it is so? To help the community to be healthy, be and know about the environment, prevent the environment, be in the way like they uh, give and take from the environment, and that will in whole will help the man to be healthy forever. So like uh, environment consists of plants and animals, so both of them have a direct impact on man's life. So like Swachh Bharat Abhiyan is one of the responsibility that is imposed. Okay, and as an individual we should also keep the environment clean so that we can be also healthy. The fourth, these were the extension work objectives. Now we move on to what is the overall objective of extension. So objectives are expressed of the end towards which our effort are directed. So objectives doesn't mean just a person is very normal or anything that we impose, and it shouldn't be it should be misused or something like that. No, actually the objective is the thing that is expressed, whatever we think that this is important for their family, understanding the felt need of that particular area is what we call as objective, and we will come up with some solution and we will impose on them, and that will benefit to them. Then fundamental objectives, the fundamental objective or extension is to develop the people or the person to whom we are targeting and we are making the things. The development is for the rural people economically, means like something that are benefit for them so that they can economically develop themselves. Socially, like they can have an interaction with each other, and then culturally is the main important because part every village in India is having their own culture, so we have to respect that. But we have to involve the education in that so that they can be educated as well as keep their traditional ways. Okay, then working objects. Now these were the basics. Now we come to the working object. Why extension education is so much important? So we have to focus, we have seen the felt need of the people. Now we are going to make an objective that will be uh, confined to one particular geographical area, and that will increase the productivity of that area, and also the cultural importance of that area. The main objective extension may be categorized as follows, like it consists of material, increasing production and economy, Then second one is educational, changing the outlook of the people or develop the individual, social and cultural development of the community. So material here is, if we will educate the people, being an agriculture extension worker, if we educate the people how to increase the productivity with the um, uh, seeds or with the practices they are having, and how they will increase that thing will is going to help them to come up with some practices which will increase their yield, and that will indirectly affect the income of the family. Then educational, changing the outlook of the people or developing the individual. That is means by demonstrating how to handle irrigation things, drip irrigation and sprinkler irrigation, how to use the machineries for the harvesting and threshing. This will increase, giving the knowledge and demonstrating that particular thing to the people will increase the individual knowledge, and that will increase the community knowledge. Then social and cultural means if through this all things economically development is there, then automatically the society, each and every family of the society will increase and their culture will be enhanced. Now we have the principles underlying the thesis philosophy of extension. The first one is, we have everything has to go hand in hand with the planning. So when first of the thing is, without planning, nothing can happen. Then execution is there, means implementation of that particular plan is there, and then evaluation of that thing is done through people. Like, we are working for the people, so we need to have some outcome from the people. Extension is an organization set up to teach the people and motivate them. It's not about only whatever we are thinking and we implement there. It's our duty. We have finished. Okay, we were assigned with a particular program and we went to the village. We did it and we came out. Whether the people are motivated or not, whether they are following this procedure for the further activities of farming or any other purpose, we are not taking. So it is not done like that. So the second fundamental the second principle is about motivating them. Then the third one is, we are helping them to help themselves. Okay, so in the last lecture I told you how do people help themselves. um, and then the fourth one is, should be based on felt need, enlightened desire of the people, like whatever they felt need. If there is a problem of irrigation, if there is a problem for fisheries, fish production, if there is a problem with rice production, if there is a problem with wheat production, how we need to improve that thing so that the people can have that uh, thing in that area. They can grow that particular crop or that particular business in that area, and then they can have a economical benefit out of that. Then extension should reach the people where they are. So it's not like we have a proper institution, formal institution, and people are coming and getting information about that. No, extension always work with the people where they are. Like if it is in the village, we have to work with the people in the village. We don't have to call them in our offices and ask them to go about the thing. Then the sixth one is, aim and objective should not be rigid. Oh, so this is the very great thing that we are studying here is, it shouldn't be rigid. Why? What does the rigid means is, like it shouldn't be like, if I have told, it won't be changed for any time. It's not like that. We have to see that on ground what is the situation, and we have to manipulate little bit of our objective in a such a way that the people are people can easily adopt that particular thing. Then people change the people and not the subject. So it's not like we went into the village, we found that domestic violence is the biggest issue, and our main objective was to tell the people how to uh, adopt the irrigation new technologies like drip irrigation and sprinkler irrigation, or uh, there are different types of irrigation. We went for this purpose, then suddenly we came up that most of the people are having alcohol, and domestic violence is the major cause for not the good production of the family or the crops. So we can't just leave the irrigation part away and then we focus on the domestic violence issue. So it's we have to do something with that, but we have to make the people understand like irrigation, how we will improve the irrigation that will increase your crop production. That will be our major thing. But like to find the biggest happiness or biggest success, we have to climb a ladder, no? So same thing happens here. Okay, then we never do one thing is we never try to underestimate their culture, because maybe their culture is will teach us something new. So we have to follow whatever the culture they have, and in that only we have to educate them with our objectives. Then must be adopted in the formulation and execution of the program. So it shouldn't be like individual idea, it should be a group idea. Okay, like one person, if I'm teaching a thresher how to operate a thresher machine, I need to have a group of people who are knowledgeable about who get knowledge and they teach more people. Okay, then should give greater benefit to the greater number of people. It's not like if I went, I the whole it is a village of 300 people. I have a very good terms with one person. I came up, I gave all the information to that person. I taught him for 3 to 4 months. I have well trained him how to handle all the equipments, how to do all the process, and then I come back. It's never like that. We have to see like out of 300, at least 290 people are getting benefit out of the program that is going through the extension. So principle is about always giving greater benefit to the greater number of the people of the society. Then there are some functions that we have to follow before going to the actual field. First one is to assist people to discover and analyze their problems. So many of the sometimes what happens like people don't understand like this is the biggest problem and that is the minor problem. They make the minor problem as the biggest problem and they ignore the major problem. So we have to give them training in such a way that they understand like this is also a problem, and first if we take away that problem, then only we will go on to the minor problem. Okay, then develop leadership among them. That is the biggest thing. If like we are not that much knowledgeable of every uh, language, every culture that is followed in India, so we have to be very um like a good relation with one of the person in the village so that they can help us to disseminate our information to them. The second one is dissemination of the information, that is whatever the research we did in the formal education format, we have to put that thing on a practical basis. So we will we in that we have to accept the pros and cons also, what are the going on uh, actually on the field, whether the research we did was correct or not, or whether the people are able to accept or not. Okay, then fourth one is informed of the people's problem from time to time. So it's not like once we went and we forget everything. We have to work for every year at the same time we take a report how much the rural development has been there, how much the community development is there, how much the societal development is there. So we have to track a record of everything, then mobilizing and utilizing the resources. So it's not like whatever is grown in the village is sold in the village. We have to give a platform to them so that they can increase the production, and then increase and sell that in the market. So mobilizing and utilizing the resources is like we have to mobilize people to understand, like this much is enough for my family. Now I can sell this much of to the outside of the village, so that I can earn good living out of it. So now we move on to some concepts that are there in the extension education process. The first one is teaching plan of work. Then we have evaluation, then reconsideration, situations and problem, objectives and solutions. Okay. The first step is about this thing. So consists of collection of data, analyzing of the facts. So in here in this step, we are trying to acknowledge people about the fact that before going into the field, we have to understand that what is the actual problem of the village, what is the biggest picture, and then we will move on to the small component of that picture. Okay, so the second point is facts about the people and their enterprises, the economic, social, cultural, physical, and technological environment in which they live and work. So we have to understand all of that fact. It's not like just I'm sitting in the AC and I'm doing video calling and all. I'm technology and I have a technology environment. I have electricities. I have net facilities. But what about the people in the village? Are they are having the same thing? Like one of the factors, digital India was implemented, but how much it is implemented, nobody understands that thing. So we have to think through the people's felt need, and then first we have to collect data. What is the basic thing for encouraging digital India is we should provide electricity to the people so that they can buy a phone and they can get charged and they can utilize it. The second point is good internet facility should be given, but people, the government has only implemented the things but never went back to see what is the actual problem they are still facing. So many remote areas today also are facing network issues, and because of that they are lacking behind as compared to the other districts where there was already electricity provided, and people are aware of the facts that how much importance of digital India is. Okay, then they may be obtained by appropriate survey and establishing a rapport with the people. So like for example, like if there is a there is a kurkure company and there one more company comes, like we have already common ways we have understood about the teddy made company, the for snacks company. Okay, the flavor, the taste is same. Maybe there will be some issue, like for like 50 gram of kurkure you are paying 10 rupees, but for 100 gram of kurkure to tede mede you are paying 5 rupees. So now the second point is what is the taste, what is the thing. So the we have to understand the society and understand the factors that are happening, and then if Tede Mede is making a reputation in that among the people, that will be a beneficial for us. Okay, so same thing applies to the whatever planning we does. Okay, so the responses obtained are to be analyzed. So whatever we are going to the village, we are getting support from the people. We understand, we take survey like which one is the better one, and they will give this one is better and why, because this things are more important. Then price is the most important, the flavor is most important, it is very hygienic or it is packed with this thing and that, the packet is very colorful and attractive. So that is our all the response that we do in the survey, and we see the problem to increase the distribution of the particular product. Okay, then This is the first part of what we does in the concept of extension program planning. Same thing, if we take an example of any of the program related to agriculture, whether it is high variety seeds that we do give to the people, hybrid seeds we give to the people, how much the productivity was before and how much after the introduction of hybrid seeds. So we have to track all the functions, and then we have to see the second part of that. Then second step is evaluation. That is, evaluation in a general terms is how much uh, actually it is affecting the people in the society. Okay, then it must a limited number of objectives should be selected by involving the local people. So it's not like I went to the field, I saw this thing was much better and this thing was not better. So it is doesn't mean like I will make all the objective on the better part of the thing. I have to see both the part, and we have to accomplish like both of the things together, so that we can bring a desirable behavior change in the people, so that they can um, take a step to develop themselves economically and socially. Okay, and then um, if there is anything which is very low and something very harming to them, then we have to tell them like how to increase that thing. If it is low also, how much benefit you can earn with the introduction of this particular thing. Like if there is a pest attack with the field, how you are going to implement some of the chemicals that are very much given to them, so that the field is more is free from pesticides, and then they can get a good yield of the field of the crops, and they can sell in the market. And then reconsideration, after the after we have collected the data, we have revised that data, we have little bit implemented that data, and then also saw some of the lacks behind in that. So we will reconsider, we will again go for collection of the facts, then evaluate it, and then we will implement again. Like I have already told about the high variety seeds, which is and the fertilizer application and other basic technologies that are used in the rural environment. Then fourth one is situations and problem. So we have to see that objective should reach to the farmers, but at at which situation, to which problem. Like if there are thousands of problem, how many problem can be accomplished through the objective that we are setting? Okay, and how many people can are able to change their uh, behavior according to that particular thing. So we have to see all these things, and then we have to move on. The fifth step is about objective and solutions. So after the reconsideration, the entire extension education program on the light of the result of the evaluation. So whatever we have, we will again modify after analyzing the situation, the problem, the evaluation, reconsideration, and collection of facts. We have to see all the factor and then come up with another set of objectives and solution that will work for the furthest, or how to modify the existing thing. Okay, so this is the MCQ. The first question is about in which year the how many in which these are the MCQs that are given on the basis of this presentation. So now we will move on to the next topic, that is about uh, the basic principle and how much why it is very important and how much it is implemented. There are 11 principles that we follows, and these were the principle which we discussed now was the basic one. So how this basic one is going to help the society or help the rural life to enhance themselves. So next lecture will be about all these things, and that will be much important because all the extension work which is going on now also in India, or it was going before, was carried out before, all are involved in this particular thing. So we have to understand the principles very basic, very nicely, so that then only we are able to go for the extension program for further things. Thank you.